What's up, cows? It's your favorite vamp cow back at it again with another React Andy. This time round, Casey Simpson feels like an alien in their own generation. Probably because he was not addicted to social media, unlike them, and all the people that are addicted to social media. They like to eat. They like to consume. They like to consume their slop. They're good little piggy. Oink 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 oink. Anyways, let's jump into it.
At the end of every school year, my university would throw a concert with some of the most esteemed names in music. So at the end of my freshman year, they hired NLE Choppa to perform his...
You see, my high school, they did like the opposite, where they kind of like hired some local performers within like the first month to like a month and a half of the school year starting to do like some big performance. I couldn't quite tell you why. I mean, it was kind of interesting, but every single time I went in, I was just like, I'd rather be reading a book. I mean, this magic show is cool and everything, but can I just continue the reading, like, To Kill a Mockingjay? I gotta get that done for my English.
Biggest hit, Slut Me Out.
Can you sing an NLE Choppa lyric?
Yeah. Do you know any lyrics from any of their songs?
Me out.
Now, as tempted as I was to get myself slutted the hell out, my friend and I decided to watch the 1959 movie The Music Man instead, and we had an amazing night.
76 trombones led the big parade, with 110 cornets close at hand.
Back when acting actually meant you had to act, and you had to know how to use your facial muscles. Nowadays, it's just widen your eyes slightly. It would sound louder. That means you're angry. Now crinkle your face a lot, because that means that you're sad. Put in eye drops in your eyes so it looks like you're crying.
But everybody who found out we did this was appalled. Casey, how could you miss out on the great NLE Choppa for some movie that came out 60 years?
I don't even know who that is. I don't know who NLE Choppa is.
Years ago.
I'ma get money no matter the coast. Having some water, I'm having some boats. Got that dope, think that show lows. He's a
Bro. There's a very specific pattern I see where it's a very specific type of musician where, for whatever reason, they need to have twerking in their videos. Or they consistently just have it in there. Why? The other... Now, this is one example, and then we also have Doja Cat's Anxiety, which she just ripped a good backtrack and then made a worse version of the song with her voice. And there's two things that happen in there that well, there's one thing that happened in there that's happening right now. Also with like the average Nicki Minaj song. There's also one thing. There's also one pattern of behavior that these three musicians typically do and perform in their music videos. I can't tell you what, but it's always quite strange that they always include it.
Similarly, yesterday I was talking about how much I love Billy Joel when my friend turns to me and goes, Casey, nobody cares about Billy Joel unless they're 200 years old.
Or unless you watch The Boys. I mean, I listen to more Billy Joel because I like the song. I like the song that they use. I already listened to Piano Man before then. Just because Piano Man was like a meme that popped up, but that's still a good song. But dude, Pressure, based. Second Wind, also based. You're missing out. Dude, underrated song from Billy Joel, Running on Ice. Everybody Loves You Now too, which is like from his very first album. Yeah, sorry that I don't want to listen to... I don't even know what that kind of music was. Sorry that I actually have, in the nicest way possible, sorry that I actually care about my ears and I want to listen to things that are enjoyable instead of slop that everybody else listens to, because it's a popular thing, and it's not going to be popular in like 3 years.
You just be normal and listen to Charlie XCX and Sexy Red like the rest of us. And I
don't know who those are.
Get attacked all the time for referencing Johnny Cash or quoting G.K. Chesterton. People tell me, Casey, get with the times. You should only cite like Colleen Hoover or Hassan Piker because they're...
I don't know who Colleen Hoover is, but what? If you have friends that are telling you to listen to Hassan Piker, immediately dissociate them. Just completely cut them off. What they're basically telling you is, yes, listen to a guy that wants the destruction of the country you live in. Why, no, just don't be friends with them anymore, because if they're already believing if they're believing in him, they're already a lost cause. There's no hope for them. Give up on them.
Relevant now. One final example, someone asked me who my favorite stand-up comedians were, and I mentioned like George Carlin and Tom Lehrer and Robin Williams, and
I have no favorite stand-up comedians. I don't listen to comedy shows. I think Dane Cook. There's like one joke. I think it's like Dane Cook with like the B and E. That was a good bit. And that's about it. Oh yeah, and like the guy that made the whole bit of playing 17 What's New Pussycats and then one It's Not Unusual. That was a good bit too.
we're like, whoa, all
I don't remember who that
people
is.
are dead. Yeah, that's true. You're not
Oh no. Oh no, the people that you like listening to are dead? Okay. Yeah, everyone dies. Sorry that I still can appreciate the minds from like hundreds of years ago. If not even just something as recent as like 30. Are we gonna dog on listen to Michael Jackson because he like passed away in the 2000s era?
breaking this news to me. I should have responded, what? You're kidding. And that's why I needed to make this video, because everyone around me has become
He's not a vampire! Not like me, what?
a chronological supremacist, believing that the best movies, the best music, the best ideas have to have emerged in like the last decade at the most. 2016 is still pushing it. That's still pretty old in their book. And I hate chronological supremacy. I think it is a cancer that destroys the most important part of who we are as human beings. So let me
Well, yeah, because a lot of people, they want to delete this ancient history. Because that history, was more refined. That history, that history was more refined. They had a lot more talent. They put a lot more time and effort. In comparison to today, where you have a lot of tools, where you don't need that time, effort, commitment, skill, talent, dedication to your craft to succeed. It's just a fact. Now, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean there's no good songs that come out today. Like, I know Eve, who made the Jujutsu Kaisen opening. That guy's good. I'm trying to think of anyone else that's recent that I actually like. I mean, there's like Aran. Aran makes kind of like a good couple songs. Can I think of like anybody that's a rock related that's recent that I enjoy? Because everyone I'm listening is electric, and I can't. There's no one that comes to my mind that has made like a rock song in the past like 10 years that I've enjoyed. Probably because they suck. There's just none, because those that still do it just suck. Sorry that I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry that I'm listening to the classics, because the classics are good and they are called the classics for a reason.
Let me first explain why the hateful ideology of chronological supremacy arose, and then why it's so dangerous. When Charles Darwin discovered evolution, that apes gradually progress into human beings, the Western world was suddenly split in half. Half of America thought evolution was a satanic lie, and the other half thought it was the deepest truth of the universe. This half thought not only do species evolve, that's old news, but society.
Yeah, I mean, after all, religion has just been a thing for thousands of years. It's just been the way that people have believed how they came to be. And then when you tell these people that have been told this, and it's ingrained into their very lives and essences, they're probably not going to want to believe it at first, because it's going to completely change their worldview, and they're going to have to completely change their way of thinking. It's a lot easier for them to continue thinking the same way, instead of even the nuanced idea of incorporating this newfound idea or piece of evidence into the religion that exists. Like, the idea that humans evolved from monkeys can still coexist with the idea of Christianity.
Evolve. People evolve, continually getting better and better until you reach the Nietzschean Ubermensch. This is the origin of what's called social Darwinism and eugenics. progress. The thinking goes that if nature gradually improves human beings, why don't we help speed the process up? Similarly, American history is largely taught as the gradual evolution of social progress, from abolitionism to civil rights to feminism. And so it's no surprise that the leaders of those aforementioned reform movements appealed to evolution. Here's a quote from progressive President Woodrow Wilson. "Progressives desire permission to interpret the Constitution according to the Darwinian principle." Education reformer John Dewey wrote in his essay, The Influence of Darwin on Philosophy, that the popular understanding of evolution transformed the average citizen's conception of the good. Before Darwin, people thought good things came from an unchanging ideal. The best art could come from any age, and it would still be the best art in every age. Good doesn't change.
What? People thought that? Man, people were stupid.
Good today would have been good 1,000 years ago and will be good 1,000 years from now. The discovery of evolution
I mean, to be fair, though, something that is good like 1,000 years ago can be good now, but it's not an always. You know, always and nevers are variables that you can, I mean, when it comes to anything, always and nevers are, well, things that you can't almost always state. There's very few things that are always and nevers. I mean, when you turn your phone on, it almost always turns on. But the thing is, though, is that unless you just threw it in water, it's not.
completely flipped this idea.
Also, just things can change. Minds can change. You know, any form of art is subjective. Music, music is an art form. You know, visual art is an art form. Bridges, how you build bridges and how they look as an art form. People can look at a bridge from 1,000 years ago and say, yeah, that actually was kind of shit. We should, like, change that because the structural integrity, dude, it's going to fall apart. We put, like, our 4,000-pound vehicles on it.
People began to think that just like a species, everything progresses to get a little better over time. Dewey wrote that the conceptions that had reigned in the philosophy of nature and knowledge for 2,000 years, the conceptions that had become the familiar furniture of the mind, rested on the assumption of the superiority of the fixed and final. They rested upon treating change as a sign of defect. But in treating humanity that had previously been regarded as a fixed good and giving it a progressive evolutionary origin in the origin of species, Darwin introduced a mode of thinking that uprooted all previous morals, politics, and religion. And today, you have authors like Yuval Harari arguing that humans always continuously evolve for the better, which will soon culminate in...
Yeah, no. Generation Alpha. Yeah, no.
humans being not just Homo sapiens, but Homo deuses, human gods. And this social Darwinism has affected every aspect of life, including what I'm making this video about. People think music, movies, and philosophy get better over time like a law of nature.
No, I mean, people can have, like, good ideas, new ideas every now and then, and they can make something that is kind of better than something that existed a while ago, but that doesn't mean that whatever existed a while ago isn't just completely garbage. Like, if you enjoy Trigun, for instance, all right, cool, you enjoy Trigun. I can tell you there's a lot of other stuff, though, that is far better. But there is nothing wrong with enjoying that and appreciating that for what it is. But for the time of Trigun existing, it was a momentous thing. A grand thing. That anime existing was a monument of history for the idea of anime. But now, like 20 years later, I watched that thing and man, it's slow. It's so slow. It's so tedious. And the story is like, okay. The character designs are okay. They're not like the most unique things, but they're not the most bland things. Like Vash has a good character design. Melee has a good character design. Wolf has a good character design, but you can compare that to characters from like Gungrave. You can compare that to characters from Frieren, Mushoku Tensei, Jujutsu Kaisen. Like there's a lot of improvements in comparison to that, and there's a lot of similarities that Trigun can share to those animes.
The more recent they are, the more relevant they are.
And again, though, just because it's old. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad, but just because it's old doesn't mean that because it was good back then doesn't mean it's great right now. You can appreciate for what it did. But yeah. Now, when it comes to reading books from like Greek philosophers like Plato, Or Aristotle? Yeah, then you compare them to philosophers of today. I mean, sometimes it really depends. It really depends. But there's a reason why Aristotle and Socrates and Plato, they still uphold to this day. Because their thoughts and their ideals were just so peak.
They are. And social media has kicked this into overdrive. On YouTube or Instagram, you're always trying to make a video about the current scandal or trending artist. If people try to make a video about...
I mean, yeah. That's just how the algorithm works. You can also blame social media algorithms, and that's what the algorithm wants for you as well. But there's plenty of video essays that cover games that I've never heard of, and they come up on my feed. I watch them, I'm like, all right, interesting game. And the person's like, this is the most monumental game ever, best game ever. And I go through the 2-hour essay. I'm just like, I mean, the first third of it was pretty interesting, but then the second third, and the final third, no, it was just
About the Hank Green AI scandal, it already feels out of date because people will have just moved on to the Lindsay Clancy trial. We're constantly refreshing our TikTok feeds for something new, for a new post, for a new video, which is us affirming that newer is better. And so
No, that's just how the algorithm works. That's just how it works. But I mean, I'm sure somebody could make a video essay about, was it Hank Green again? It was Hank Green, right? Yeah, someone can make a video about Hank Green 3 months from now, and doing a deep dive about everything, all the signs that he was using AI, and, what happened afterward, and I'll still get views, even though technically that's a dead topic. Technically. So in short, you're just wrong. I don't think you've been on YouTube long enough, Casey. You're just wrong here.
This has made a world where we do not judge movies, music, or writing on how good they are in a vacuum, but on how new and relevant.
No, that's not completely correct.
They are. We have all become chronological.
I can say there's probably a good amount of people like that, but you're not 100% correct, dude.
And here's why I think that is so terrible. How many authors or musicians or movies do you love? Maybe every Noah Kahn song makes you cry, or reading Jeanette McCurdy's memoir helped you understand your own abuse. Maybe you would always listen to the Beatles with your dad, and now that he's passed, Here Comes the Sun makes you think of your time with him. I know when my friend passed, one of our friends put up an Instagram.
Sorry, but the Beatles is overrated as fuck. They are a shitty band. You can enjoy the memories that you have with your family with them, but they are a terrible brand. They're just terrible. The fact is that the Beatles was only popular because they happened at the right time. Not even because they happened at the right time. The entire gimmick of the Beatles is that it was a bunch of weed brownies that made songs while they were on weed. And then everybody was also weed brownie at the time, so then everybody loved their weed brownie songs. If you listen to those now, there's nothing good in there, man. The guitar is so underperforming. The vocals are okay, their voices are okay, but the lyrics are. I know the part of the gimmick of them is that the lyrics don't really make much sense. But man, if I had to give them a rating, that they're probably a 3 out of 10 band. And I believe they were always a 3 out of 10 band, but they just happened to exist at the right time and make songs during the right time of history as well.
Most remembering him featuring Here Comes the Sun because that was his favorite song. And now every time I hear Here Comes the Sun, I think of him. The point is that it is so rare.
Oh, I think Here Comes the Sun's okay. I'll give that one a 6. But it's really not that special, man.
And special to find art that you love. And so, anything that limits that is terrible. There have been so many good songs and TV shows throughout time that if I could only watch the shows that were being written today, I would miss out on 95% of the good ones. Just statistically speaking, the same way.
I mean, if you're enjoying what's existing today, you're just a loser. There's basically nothing but garbage that's existing today. In comparison to back then, you'd have maybe 20% of. I would say from 2016 and prior, 20% of shows and movies that came out were good. Now it's 2%. 2% of shows and movies that come out today are good. Most of them are shit because it's just retreading ground and just rehashing shit that already exists.
I would if I only watched shows made before 1960. That's why you can see behind me I have one of my favorite TV shows, Better Call Saul, which came out a couple years ago. One of my favorite plays, Cat on the Tin Roof from the 1940s. One of my favorite singers, Hank Williams from the 30s. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is from the 70s. The Searchers from the 50s. West Wing from the 90s. Marty Robbins from the 60s. And Theodore Roosevelt's poem, The Man in the Arena from the 1910s. Every one of those things has made me a deeper person.
Okay, good for you.
It helped me understand myself and other people so much better. For example, my grandfather cheated on my grandmother with her best friend and then married that best friend. And because of that, my grandma spent the last 25 years of her life sulking in resentment. She never remarried herself. She spent all her energy wishing for the downfall of her ex-husband and his new wife. She wanted nothing more than to outlive them. And in the end, she did. But I didn't quite understand her decision until I read Moby Dick. In Moby Dick, Sea Captain Ahab has his leg chewed off by a sperm whale and spends the rest of his life trying to find and kill that whale. And his quest of vengeance costs him his friends, his sanity, and ultimately his entire ship and the lives of everyone on it because he is so blinded by his hatred for one whale. And that was how my grandma lived. When Herman Melville described Captain Ahab's soul as shut up in the caved trunk of his body, he fed upon the sullen paws of his own gloom. He could have been writing about my grandmother. Similarly, in The Searchers, Ethan Edwards' entire family is killed by Comanche Indians, and he spends the next decade of his life on a murderous revenge quest. His thirst for revenge consumes him so thoroughly that when he discovers his niece was only kidnapped by the Indians and raised as a Comanche herself, he can only see her as one of the people who killed his family. So rather than try to rescue her, he aims his gun at his own niece. By the way, that movie became Star Wars. George Lucas saw that movie, he loved that movie, he wanted to set it in space, and that's just the first Star Wars movie. So to the extent you find any value in human art and expression, why in the world would you limit yourself to an arbitrary slice?
Now, as for me, though, all those movies, all those shows he listed, I'm really not interested in. There is one old show I was kind of interested in. Maybe I would try and give this another shot, because I think I only watched like 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm bored. This isn't for me. I think I'll try and give it another shot. That was like Columbo. But I know what an issue with Columbo, too, is that there's a lot of seasons. I technically don't have to watch every season, but the completionist in me, whenever I watch or pick up anything, I have to watch it to completion. Otherwise, I feel so unfulfilled. I can't move on otherwise.
Of it. There's some great music being made today, and there was some great music from the
unless it's that terrible. There's very few things that I've watched that have been that awful that I have no interest in picking up. I think Memory of a Killer is one of the very few. I think. I don't know if that's quite the name. Basically an assassin who starts getting dementia because he's in his 50s. And then he starts misplacing a bunch of stuff and constantly gets himself into constant hijinks ensue because, he's misplacing stuff and he's getting in trouble.
You don't have to choose. Stories are how we understand each other and ourselves. If you're not a chronological supremacist, then you might know the story of Don Quixote. Don Quixote was an irrelevant Spanish nobleman who thought...
See, I only know Don Quixote because of Olympus Company. That's the issue, though. So, that's the issue of today, though, is that people only ever talk about or bring about what just came out. Most people talk about it's not even just most people, it's just the fact that advertising exists. There's so much advertising for the newest thing that's really all you can ever think about.
Thought he was a brave knight and that windmills were really dragons. So he ends up charging at a windmill that destroys his sword and knocks over his horse. His delusions continue to almost get him killed until he finally accepts reality and gives up knighthood. And that's me. I am Don Quixote. I've struggled a lot with OCD, and when I'm in an obsession, I would constantly think that my next thought is so important that I need to hit the lights 45 times or my family's gonna die. Or if I don't think a certain thing, then I'm a terrible person. And these delusions have me chasing my thoughts in my head like they're dragons when they're really windmills, and living so far
That just sounds like schizophrenia.
from reality like that can ruin my life the same way it ruined Don Quixote's. Literature and music demonstrate how we're not alone on the deepest spiritual level and how we can best handle the deepest problems in life. And there's little more valuable than that. Societies have survived without science or central governments, but no society in any part of recorded history has ever survived without telling stories. And we all know this. The civil rights movement didn't say, hey, did you know this many black people were killed every year? They told the story of Emmett Till. Prohibitionists didn't give statistics on alcohol. They told the story of individual women beaten by their drunk husbands. Why do we fight so bitterly, whether George Washington was a hero or a villain, or modern figures like Malcolm X or even Charlie Kirk? Because both sides know that the story of who someone is and what they stand for is everything. We don't do something because we've
Well, people are fighting for what the story of a character is in history is Well, simple, because a lot of people fight about George Washington particularly because, well, if you can portray him as a villain, then you can start the destruction of America. If you portray him as a hero, then you can invalidate all the people that are trying to portray him as a villain. That it's really that simple. It's like the same thing with like what was it called again? With like Muslims, with like the idea of Prophet Muhammad. If you can, the Prophet Muhammad married a 9-year-old. Fact. Just a fact. Prophet Muhammad married a 9-year-old in the Quran. And then if you bring up the idea, if you state that, that he was probably a PDF file, apparently a lot of people have a problem with that. I don't know, man. Married a 9-year-old. But apparently, stating a fact and then saying a fact and then being like, yeah, it's a little sussy. That's apparently incorrect.
Calculated that it's good. We do something because we see someone we admire do something and we call it good. So stories are...
But the fact is that, a lot of people argue against that because if you can portray the Prophet Muhammad as an all, like, a wonderful, no good, no wrongdoing being, then you are allowed to kind of enforce his teachings. You're allowed to basically say all of his teachings are correct. But if you can point out and portray that he is not this, like, perfect creature, this perfect man, this God, then you can basically say that a lot of the teachings based upon the Quran that Prophet Muhammad is trying to preach upon and teach the others in the book, he's obviously that you shouldn't believe and go along with everything in there. It's literally just the same thing with George Washington. George Washington, he probably, who knows what he preached? I really don't know. I can't remember. I don't remember looking at specific quotes. I just know that he was a general that made America what it is. That's just a fact. And you can say how villainous he was because of such, or you can say he was a hero of such, but that's just what happened.
Literally the most core thing to our identity. And I don't want to base my story on NLE Choppa or Sexy Red. I'd rather my stories be the Eagles and Bob Dylan and Arthur Miller and Stand By Me and Sam Cooke. Now, let me respond to the most common objection I get from those chronological supremacists. They say, Casey, what about monoculture? Casey, you love the monoculture. If you listen to music made before
I don't know what this is. What do you mean monoculture? What?
2017, how will you be able to sing along with everyone? And
why, who cares? Why would you want to be like everybody? Just do your own thing. The people that are telling you that are Cro-Magnons.
I have 3 responses. The first one is, you're right. Because the modern world is filled with chronological supremacists, I will be able to talk to fewer people about Merle Haggard than Luke Bryan. However, my second response is this isn't the win you think it is.
I mean, yeah, you'll be able to talk to less people about it, but then you'll actually be able to find a lot more people you're going to be able to find a lot more people as passionate about those subjects just because you're vocal that you also enjoy those, and those people will flock to you.
Social media has so fractured the modern world that there isn't that much monoculture I'm missing out on. And let me put my cash where my ass is. I don't think, outside of Olivia Rodrigo, there is one modern pop culture figure that 100% of my undergraduate classmates would know. Maybe Greta Thunberg. I can't think of any.
Greta Thunberg. How dare you? How dare you? The woman that got captured when she was trying to help out another world. She got captured by the very people that she was trying to help. Isn't that crazy?
Else. Honestly, Charlie Kirk. Greta Thunberg, Charlie Kirk, and Olivia Rodrigo would be the only 3 people that 100% of the kids at my school would know. So
yeah, because Charlie Kirk was a big thing. Greta Thunberg was astroturfed as fuck. One could even say that she was probably an industry plant. No, actually, no, just to be on a reasonable doubt. She was an industry plant, and she was astroturfed the fuck out of to be a figure that way bigger than what she ever should have been. Except for then 2 or 3, not even a year and a half later, everyone kind of forgot about her. Except for the people that decided to consistently make fun of her, because she is a figure worthy of being made fun of.
Unless you want to have a very, very strange set of 3 conversations, it's a fool's errand to just listen to the things everybody will know, because no one knows everything anymore. 30 years ago.
Yeah, because there's everything now. There's That's like John Tectone being surprised that there aren't any big boy streamers that are coming out of the works anymore. My brother in Christ, there's like hundreds of thousands of them now. There's millions. There's like tens of millions, possibly even, of streamers. 2018, there was maybe like 300,000 at most. The amount of people that stream that make content has been expanded by so much that everything's kind of a niche. There really isn't a specific figurehead that everyone can lash onto. The only character that exists in current year that almost everybody knows about and can latch onto is Taylor Swift. Not even latch onto. You just kind of know about Taylor Swift because, Taylor Swift constantly preaches about ideals of, loving the planet, even though that she uses a shit ton of jet fuel every year just to do all her concerts. And also all the completely deranged Taylor Swift fans who grabbed trash from her wedding and then sold it.
There might have been 100.
That's like the only person that almost everybody in the world knows that they know about. Charlie Kirk, probably also. Greta Thunberg, I won't be surprised if there's a couple of people that don't know Greta Thunberg. At least in current year, because what has she ever done other than say, "How dare you? How dare you?"
Modern pop culture figures everyone on a campus would know. But my final response is that even though you do lose something by not being able to join the NLE Choppa concert, you gain something else by joining a smaller group who really cares about good human stories, no matter when they come from. We all know the guy who loves an underground band and then hates when they go mainstream. Why? Because when that band was underground, he felt like he was part of a secret that only he and his friends knew. And in the same way, there's a joy of not doing what everybody else is doing, watching amazing movies.
Me, whenever my streamer becomes popular, and now I'm not like the one of like 5 people in chat, and now I'm like one of the 20. There's been like 4 or 5 people like that where the person I watch actually starts blowing up, and I immediately disconnect from watching them because I'm like, yeah, this isn't special anymore. This isn't fun anymore. Also because I don't like the other people in chat. I think other people in chat are annoying, and I just don't want to deal with them. I don't want to hear about them. I want to hear their messages being read out loud. So I just stopped watching altogether. And then I realized, you know what? I should just stream myself. Because if I don't want to, I can just ban all the people I don't like. Get rid of them.
Listening to songs that your acquaintances don't even know exist. It's like finding a secret treasure map. It wouldn't be a secret treasure if everybody had it. And everything I've said so far is basically just the warning of Brave New World. Brave New World was sort of the first future dystopian novel, before Hunger Games, before 1984, and in that book, characters refused to read Shakespeare for one reason. He's old. Quote, "We haven't any use for old things here," the controller explained. "Even when they're beautiful?" the savage asked. The controller responded, "Particularly when they're beautiful. Beauty's attractive, and we don't want people to be attracted by old things. We want them to like the new ones. We've sacrificed
Consumerism moment.
high art for art that doesn't mean anything, but makes our population feel numb, so they're easy to control." And
Man, that's just an allegory for consumerism. People that buy like the new Stanley Cup that came out every like month. Or the people that buy all these like dumbass plushies that come out every like 2 months.
yeah, that's another good point. If you are never stirred by anything, if no movie moves you deeply, you'll be much easier to control because as soon as culture changes, you'll change with them. If you think the newest thing is inherently the best thing, you'll overlook unspeakable tyranny. Do you know how
the funny thing is, he doesn't even know that he's actually preaching against progressivism here.
Nazis rose to power? The radio. In a lot of ways, movies are better today. They have better effects, and sometimes you have really vulnerable character studies, like in The Drama or Lady Bird. But in a lot of other ways, older movies are better. One obvious way is kids' movies that didn't have as much stimulation as modern-day Cocomelon does. The caption says, "After showing my kids calmer, older movies, they slept longer and fought with me less." This mom had the same experience.
I mean, not to mention, those older movies, they actually are filled with life because there was time, work, effort, and, like, a reason for why the episodes exist. Like, there was a genuine interest in the craft, whereas modern, like, kid shows are just slop, so that way your kid stays locked onto it for long enough. So the company gets more money. The company wants you to watch the full video so they get the ad revenue, and then they want you to watch the next video because they want the ad revenue. And they don't care about the messaging inside. They really don't care about what the show looks like. I mean, that's exactly why I've always hated CG shows. CG shows, yeah. I've never really liked 3D shows because I always thought they were lazy. I didn't respect the craft of them. There's a couple of good ones, but I still firmly believe that they are far lazy and take a lot less time, work, and effort and care in comparison to a 2D animated show. Like, one of the few good ones is like Code Lyoko. Let's see, what's other pretty good like 3D show? I think I can think of Ajin. Let's see, what else? What else was 3D? I mean, they had Treasure Planet, but Treasure Planet only had like a CG whale. But for the most part, it was 2D animated.
Back when animated movies were hand-drawn and not made with AI, like apparently they're doing now, that's an added benefit. If you listen to things before 2022, there's no worry that it's made from AI. Older movies in general could just be more creative because our attention spans were longer. People wouldn't walk out of the theater if the first 10 seconds weren't stimulating enough.
Well, that's also when creativity was also requested. Because if you just posted what everybody else is doing, people would call you out for being a copycat.
And I think we've all seen that from movies to music.
I always just skip the intros. I always skip those.
To architecture, the modern world has become so monotonous and the same because we prioritize efficiency over artistic expression.
Watch humans turn to soulless robots.
But somehow...
Well, yeah. I mean, it also doesn't help that corporations force like this very boring, mundane coexistence upon us because it's a lot easier for them to just very slightly alter how their current car looks and then just repackage it for next year. Also, it's a lot easier to resell a square box that is gray in comparison to putting a whole bunch of color on it. And then now the company that buys that new building has to repaint it.
It seems like there are at least a couple people in my generation who agree with me.
You were raised... You know, the funny thing is that I was actually raised on... I was not raised on either of my family's music. My mother constantly listened to Christian music. I hated that so much. I despised it. My father, he always listened to, like, the same rock station, and they played, I swear to you, the same 30 songs. I got tired of most of them. I can't remember any of them. I've blocked that out because I blocked it out like it was a traumatizing memory because I found them to be so revolting. I don't even like my siblings' music, dude. I just kind of listen to whatever I want. If I hear a song and it picks up my ears, that's what I listen to. Alright, I'm seeing a couple good songs in here, though.
It's so strange to me. Like, I'm glad you were raised on your dad's music, I guess, but why does it have to be your dad's music? We have access to all music ever. We don't need a parent to happen to show us the hits. We can listen to the best songs with our own friends.
I mean, it is very helpful when you have somebody that can tell you the good music that exists, because once you know what's good, you're going to continue to listen to what's good. Especially if your ears like what's good, instead of just listening to what everyone else is and believing that's good. And then only listen to that, because, again, that's just what you're believed is supposed to be good.
I learn old songs from my friend all the time. He recently showed me the band 1975 that I've been super into.
Just as long as you stand by me.
Someone said what this song is giving. It can be kind of funny, though, when you listen to older songs around a boomer. They're always so impressed.
Hey, when you make me feel...
What you know about this?
What you mean? Everybody know this song.
What you know about this? What you know about this? What you know about this? What do you know?
Someone said they act like it's their song. My dad was flabbergasted when I knew Copacabana. God.
Dude, speaking of Copacabana, I had some guy at work. I had the song on. And he requested I turned it off. It was kind of awkward because I wonder what happened for him to hate the song Copacabana. I wonder if he had a girlfriend that loved the song, and then he obviously had a really bad breakup with her.
Bars in hell. My teacher went.
I don't know. Copacabana is like an okay song. I listened to it for a while, but then I kind of realized it was like mid, so I stopped listening to it.
Here's a song you guys won't know, and she played Mr. Brightside. Are we serious right now?
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine.
And if you ever listen to an older song on YouTube, you know the comments are all like...
I mean, to be fair, that song's never on the radio. What people consider niche nowadays is just stuff that's not constantly played on the radio. I have not heard that song on the radio in forever, but that was one of my favorite songs on the radio. Same thing with Viva La Vida. That one's also never on the radio. At least those stations that I'm forced to listen to.
Like this.
I used to listen to this song every day with my father, and now he's dead. Take me back to when this song came out. I want to go back! Nowadays, it's just auto-tune and computer music. Not like then. They played guitars. If you remember this song, you're not old. You're just high-quality vintage. No cell phones back then. Just art and human connection type of music. I'm 17 and I like this kind of music. No one at my school likes good music like me.
Don't forget...
Real.
Who's here in insert random year? Someone said, I need this playlist.
I mean... The thing is, though, is that just because the old songs are good doesn't mean that, like, they're... Just because they are good, all right, they are good doesn't mean that they are worthy to be in my playlist. In short, I like to listen to, like, the same-ish songs over and over again. I mean, I don't know. I have a 700-song playlist. I like to listen to specific ones that fit the vibe. And that kind of music, it's like good to have in the background, but it never would fit any vibe that I'm feeling in. Not when I need like energy to be moving around a whole bunch, or feel like running, or just vibing. I would play that in the grocery store though, but I just never would have any. I would have no reason to play it in my ears. But if that was playing in the grocery store, that'd be a vibe.
This girl's still listening to Journey. Speaking of Journey, like, I feel Glee had it right. Like, they would play classic rock and songs on the radio. They never, like, differentiated, oh, this is an old song. This is so weird that we're doing an old song.
25% show tunes, 25% hip-hop, 25% classic rock, 100% gay.
They had enough weirdness on that show.
What's the capital of Ohio? Brittany.
Oh.
What? Do you even know who the president is?
Well, I am.
Terrorists. Mexicans. Mexican. Terrorists. Ants. Mexican terrorist ants.
But someone pointed out that more and more of Gen Z is starting to listen to old songs, while ironically, baby boomers are being tricked into listening to new AI songs.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they have been listening to like the same-ish tunes for a long period of time. And now that they're kind of hearing new songs, I don't know, maybe it's hitting their vibes just because there is, I don't know, more older songs that the AI can leech onto at the moment. I don't know about that one. I don't know. No, it doesn't seem right. The fact is that older people are easier to trick to AI songs, whereas young people, because for whatever reason, old people just can't detect the how do you put it? There's always, how you can listen to AI. And you can listen to it for not even like 2 seconds, and you can immediately tell because there's something wrong with a person's voice. The guitar, the bass track just sounds so bland. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe older people are tricked by AI because they're just bland themselves, and they like to listen to stuff that's equally as bland as them.
Someone said 90% of my playlist was made before I was born. But why is that noteworthy? 90% of good songs were made before you were born, statistically speaking. And this proves my point. This Zoomer grew up that they're so grateful they grew up with original movies instead of all the remakes from today.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the OG movies had a lot less CGI. There was a lot more practical effects. There had to be a lot more interesting camera angles. Nowadays, movies are just zooming on face. All right, person's talking, switch over that person's face, switch to person's face. CGI, green screen background. Not to mention that color matching was a very important thing. Like having backgrounds look a specific way, the outfits of specific characters at specific moments was important. That's not really an important thing now, so it seems.
But
just more attention to detail.
The new generation doesn't have to grow up with remakes. The original movies still exist. It's their choice or their parents' choice to
Yeah, but again, the remakes are constantly being shoved down our throats. What choice do we really have? I mean, yeah, we can enjoy the old enjoy the old movies. But the fact is that that's still being shoved down our throats by corporations. But
show them the better movies because they still bang. Listen to why this guy likes older movies.
Why do young men love old movies more than modern ones? It's because men in those movies had presence. They weren't superheroes, they weren't fools, they were just men.
Yeah, he's touching on something really fascinating.
Yeah. Nowadays, everyone hates men. Men are evil. They're creatures. Despise them. If men exist, they have to be morally gray. They have to do a lot of evil actions, but sometimes they can do good, but they have to do a lot of evil actions. But maybe there's something redeemable about them. Meanwhile, back then, though, yeah, sometimes they did like dumb shit, but for the most part, though, they were just guys just trying to live their life.
The masculine archetypes of like the 50s through the 70s were very reserved, modest men. Like you can think of James Bond in the 60s, or Cary Grant, or Clark Gable. But then after the feminist movement in the 80s, men suddenly felt like they needed to assert how masculine and different they were from women, and that's why you have Sylvester.
Well, yeah, after all, feminists also just basically said men are evil. We should hate men, despise men. Men are garbage. So then we just decided to. Men decided to, I don't know about we, but men decided to embrace the things that they actually liked about themselves to spite the people.
Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, these huge bodybuilders, take over the masculine archetype in the 80s. Although I will acknowledge one weird thing about watching older movies is wondering if any of the actors are still alive.
Oh, that old dude is definitely dead. I wonder if he's dead. He's not dead. Holy shit. 97 years old.
He's... All right, I like that. Bro's just holding a clear phone case.
Well, he's about to be dead. Dead. Holy shit, he's dead. Yeah, dead. I wonder if she's dead. Dead. Yep. 2000.
That sounds so miserable to watch any movie and then wonder if someone's still alive. You see, as for me, if I watch any movie, I just think of, man, what do they look like now? Did they grow up? Did they age good, or do they look like they're on like death's door?
She's been dead since 2008. Golly.
Or being able to recognize every 80s movie trope.
But Connie, it's senior skip day. That's when everybody fucks. Hey Tanya, I know you're a freshman and everything's new to you, and you're a new student here in general, but it's kind of a Wakeland Forest tradition to throw the new oncoming cheerleader squad freshmen into a vat of fucking acid and watch them burn.
Now that's comedy.
Alive as a prank.
No, Patricia, it's not right. I, a 45-year-old gym coach and your health teacher should...
Man, good old days when you could actually make jokes about game-ending people. Nowadays, though, everyone's just like, no, we have to talk about how you're just going to be mean to them and it's going to hurt their feelings.
No longer have relations with you because, well, I'm a married man with kids and you're a 16-year-old cheerleader and we wouldn't want to break Ross's heart. Now, stop those crocodile tears. I'll still see you at the pep rally. Go Wildcats.
Mr. Johnson is such a hard knuckle. I mean, we're making good money, 25 cents an hour, but I don't know. I say we do something to set him straight. Maybe we kidnap his entire family and throw him in the trunk of a car and run the car over a bridge.
These are good movie plots. I'm interested in these. Oh, I think it's there's a movie I'm thinking of like called 1988, I think, where it's about a music teacher who takes a music teacher that basically takes over as a teacher in this very, very poor school with a lot of delinquents in them, and he has to deal with this very specific group of delinquents. And he basically he doesn't take their shit. He punishes them for being assholes. So those teenagers, they kidnap his wife and sexually assault her. And then they try to game in the teacher and then turn the teacher, well, for like, I think it's like the first two game ends, he basically game ins two students because they try to game in him first. And then kind of heat the moment he does it. But then for like, actually no, all of them. literally all of them, it's self-defense, but there's like moments where he could have chosen not to game in them. But at the same time, though, evil? I mean, who can blame him?
Maybe that would get him. Maybe then we would see a pay raise at this bowling alley that we work at. And I'm 13.
And whatever you listen to, the music you listen to when you're young makes an irrevocable impact on your mind.
Music.
Not me. Not me. I don't know. I think maybe it did, because man, I can't stand Christian music. I can't stand country. There's very, very specific rock songs I'm into. Very. And most of them are never on the radio. Most of them were never, ever on the radio. Beatles, I can't stand the Beatles. I think I'm just an outlier. I think that's what it really revolves down to. I'm just an outlier. Everything I would listen to as a kid, I completely despise and look down upon it. 95% of the time. There's a couple songs I listen to that I remember hearing as a kid that I enjoyed. But everything my parents enjoyed, I hated. I can't stand it because it was the same 40 songs over and over again. It was so shit. Oh.
15 years old.
You know, there is an actual psychological reason why the music from your teens and early 20s is gonna be your favorite and like stick with you forever. Between the ages of 12 and 20.
I don't know. I think I'm definitely an outlier for this too. I'm constantly like removing songs that I used to listen to and enjoy as a kid. Now I hear new songs like, dude, this is my jam, dude. I love this.
Your brain is going through rapid growth, and it basically wires all the music you listen to up there permanently. Your neural pathways connect all these heightened emotions that you're feeling because of hormones to your favorite songs. Make sure that you're listening to as much music as you can during this time, because you'll be setting yourself up for some super strong lifelong nostalgia.
And I do not hate to say, this is literally me.
You heard that new song?
No.
Is there?
Someone said, do not.
I don't like that song.
Not come in my car expecting to hear anything made after 2009. Wait, 2009?
Well, that sounds sad. We really ain't gonna listen to anything after 2009? Bro, what about, come on, Mr. Brightside. Bro, what about, hold on. I'm bringing up my playlist now. You ain't gonna listen to Symphony Number 9? What about Pump It Up? Freebird? Billy Joel? Not even Billy Joel? What about Wham? Dark Souls 1 OST?
Does that mean you can't listen to any Glee cast covers?
Open Gangnam Style.
Another sign that my generation
No. Just now.
yearns for real songs with heart that we don't have anymore is because old songs way disproportionately go viral on TikTok.
Put your head on my shoulder.
I mean, it's that kind of moment. I mean, that's a funny string of some notes.
Life could be a dream if I could take you up.
Wasn't that in the Cars movie? Yeah, that was in the Car movie. It's a good song, though.
I just wanna be the one you love.
That's an okay song.
Someone said I knew all these songs, but
I don't know, man. All those are just kind of like, okay. Shaboom is like the one that I would give a solid 7 out of 10. Everything else there, I would give him like a 4.
before TikTok. I like you, Kayla. This girl gets it too. And this girl explains it perfectly.
Eat zucchini, eat zucchini. But like Minnesota, hotter than a fever. Ooh, girl, I'm thinking she's so cool. Boba tea.
Fried chicken. Party on the Hollywood Hills.
Is it slow? Maybe it's you
What?
said the shit.
I'm so confused.
SpongeBob Big Guy Pants, okay.
Very true. Someone said pop music is just brain rot now. Yeah. Also, movies and music are like the one.
I mean, pop music ever since early 2000s has just been about, how do you put it? Pop music ever since like the early 2000s has been basically just repeating repeating the chorus 4, even up to 5 times with like maybe some lyrics in introspection placed in between the chorus. But the fact is that I would say, like, most pop songs, though, there's a reason why the chorus appears in there, like, at least 4 times. It's because, well, you're just supposed to get attracted to that one part and only listen for that one part. Mainly.
Thing that can sort of bypass,
and that's exactly why I don't like most pop songs, because I hear the chorus, and I hear the chorus so often and so much that it bores me and I get tired so quickly.
Reason and get into our minds. A lot of studies have found that depending on what music you just listen to, you'll actually act differently. Whenever I have a scene where
Yeah, who would have thought? Man, the guy that listens to heavy metal, you're telling me that that's why he's, like, always wearing, like, black clothing and chains? What? You're telling me that the woman that listens to nothing but Taylor Swift is wearing, like, bright pink and bright green? What? No way. Like, is this really surprise? Is this a thing to even bring up? What?
have to cry. I'm always listening, this is so embarrassing, to, like, the final song in Hamilton. The rest of the cast always makes fun of me. But hey, it gets me into that mindset. And for movies, I know so
If I want to cry, I watch Vinland Saga.
many people who have, like, changed their personality after watching a movie. And I personally think that the message of older music and movies is usually better than modern ones. There are definitely exceptions, but most songs today are about, well, slutting it out. In my video essays and commentary, I really try to give different takes from what you'd see from, like, other
Hell yeah, feminist movement. Yeah, post on Blue Twitch. Woo.
video commentators. And, I mean, you can be the judge if I actually achieve that, but if I do, then it's because I read older authors who aren't repeating the same talking points as everybody else. Instead, reading people who aren't, like, currently on TikTok, I can really get a deeper look at modern manifestations of ancient problems by seeing how they dealt with their version of whatever we're dealing with today. Like, there's a palpable innocence to older movies that my generation doesn't see.
All right. Okay, talk. Now you have nothing to say. No.
I don't really like you as much when you do that.
I mean, yeah, you can't even do that anymore because this is all considered essay now. Or everyone's always afraid of such. Any form of romantic thing that you can do, also a lot of people are just afraid of embarrassment a bit too much now. Even though that was a part of the fun and the gimmick of, like, being in a relationship with somebody is doing embarrassing things. I mean, didn't Casey Simpson make videos about how no one, yeah, he did. He made videos about how no one, like, wants to be embarrassed anymore. Again, man, this is all, like, that's a part of it, but also, literally, you can touch a woman on the shoulder, and that can be claimed as SA in current year. There's a reason why you never, ever see that almost in anything now.
Older movies are good. Like, they're funny.
This is a joke, right? This is a joke. Because, we know.
Some people go even further than me, though, and they, like, buy an old TV. That's fine. I wouldn't recommend it.
Older movies are funny, but the Shark Tank was not. Was that Shark Tank? I can't remember. I can't even remember the name of that movie. That movie was okay. But it definitely, I don't remember that being a movie. That was pretty good.
Trying to hold that bay horse back. Oh, to Dorothy. Bound to run all night, bound to run all day. I bet my money on a bobtail nag, somebody bet on the bay. Well, a blind horse fell in a big mud hole.
But I get it when modern kids shows sound like this. Not that I would know.
Hey, you guys want to have a foot fight? Oh, God. Wait, let's put peanut butter on our toes. Oh, my God. How did we not notice any of this? I got an idea. Let's crack an egg on my foot. Oh, God, no. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm going to put my toe in my mouth. Oh, my God.
Listen, there's a very specific director for those looking Nickelodeon shows. I can't remember who it is. You know what? Actually, here's an easy way to find out. Who was the Nickelodeon director? Who was the Nickelodeon foot guy? It's literally the first result. Dan Schneider. Literally every single one of those shows is made by Dan Schneider. And Dan Schneider has a weird foot fetish.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna throw to be eradicated.
Because really, I want...
You know, probably things that Dan Schneider, a lot of people awakened and realized they also had foot fetishes. Fun fact, that foot fetish is actually the most popular kink because apparently the sexual part of your brain is right next to the foot part of your brain, and sometimes those things can get combined. And because they can get combined, then that's how you can have a attraction for feet. It's really that simple. Fun, but fun
as
fact.
many moments like this as possible.
Vinland Saga, Frieren, Jujutsu Kaisen, Ray Zero,
rather than a bland
Baby Driver.
Nothing.
Why have people looked the same for the last 20 years? Like, if you go back and watch the first episode of The Office, that was filmed in 2004, you don't look at them and say, oh my gosh, look at those hairstyles and those clothes. But if you went back to any previous decade, you would. Like, 1970s guy is a Halloween costume you can get on Amazon right now with the bell bottoms and the perm. If a character showed up in a movie set in the 1980s dressed like that, you would think they were in a Halloween costume, and that's just 10 years later. And if you're going to say, well, yeah, but that's movies, that's not realistic, I am telling you, when I was growing up in the 1980s, I remember looking in a photo album of my parents from 10 years before, from the
Consumerism. It's really just that simple. It's just consumerism. It's cheaper for companies to just make the same thing over and over again, but slightly edit it in comparison to just trying completely change attire.
1970s, and all of us just laughing our heads off at the outfits and the hair. And you can go by decade. If you ask somebody my age to visualize the 1950s, we will close our eyes and picture something like this. Then if you ask us to picture the 1960s, you will get something radically different. If you were to switch the two, they would look like they were on the wrong planet. And again, these are gaps of just a decade. It used to be that you would have TV shows that were about an era 20 years before, like Happy Days was made in the 1970s and was about the 1950s, and it was about a totally different world. The Wonder Years, the same thing. It was in the 1980s and made about the 1960s, about this bygone era. Can you imagine somebody doing a show today about the bygone era of 2003? I don't even think they would have to make costumes that are period accurate. This is from 2003.
Because there is so much extraordinary music from every time and every genre.
Real music lovers listen to every genre. People ask me, what music do you like? What do you like?
Amen. That's exactly according to Spotify. I listen to a whole bunch of rock, indie rock, pop. I don't believe pop is a real genre of music. Pop music literally just means poppy sounding music or popular music. So here's what I believe as well. You're retarded if you describe a word using a word itself. Therefore, pop music isn't fucking real. It's not a real thing. It's in, you know, you can say it's indie rock. You can say it is jazzy, smooth jazz, fast jazz. Just not pop. Pop's in the real genre. It's so vague and it's so generic that it means literally nothing.
Listening to, and my answer is...
But yeah, I don't know. I have almost probably every kind of like song that I listen to, including quote unquote pop.
I don't know if it sounds good. I'm adding it to the playlist. So don't ask me what my favorite...
No, that's what matters a lot. That matters a lot. It has to sound good. Why are you listening to music that you don't even think sounds good? What
music is? One day I'm listening to rock, the next day I'm listening to pop, and then I'm listening to some throwback. I'll even listen to some EDM and some house music. I'll listen to everything.
This guy's lamenting that he didn't grow up with better music, but that music still exists. You can stream it right now.
Let me tell you about a place somewhere up a New York way. And I know the night is fading, and I know the time's gonna...
And I don't mean you have to become like a pretentious...
I mean, to be fair though, that just goes to show that his parents did not have a good taste.
Film snob who says, you know, oh, my favorite movie is this obscure French film from 1932 by Jacques-Luc.
If I had to pick a favorite movie, I don't know, probably Avengers Endgame. I don't really watch many movies.
Baby Driver.
But my favorite is this obscure Eastern European silent black and white horror film from 1930 that's a metaphor for capitalism and imperialism and basically anything that ends with an ism.
Okay, so the average content creator that has the PDF stash got it.
Life-changing.
And the beauty of art is you can discern its meaning for yourself. You don't have to just accept what people think about it.
Yes!
Like, was Fletcher Reed a hero or a villain? Was Brad Pitt wrong at the end of 7 or not? Is Hamlet losing his mind, or is he the only one keeping it? And I ask, please, can we all give up our chronological supremacy now? Because pretty soon, we'll all wish that we had much sooner.
Hi, I'd like to see a movie, please. Okay, great. Would you like that regular or organic? What's the difference? Well, a regular movie is one made entirely by AI, and an organic movie is one made entirely by human beings. Okay, I'll take an organic movie then. Okay, that'll be $1,000. Wait, what? Why? That's so much money. Well, movies made by people cost a lot more money to make now, and because not many people can afford to see them, obviously the price is going up. But a regular movie, a movie made by AI, doesn't cost that much to make, so it doesn't cost that much to see, which is about $5 a ticket. Fine, I'll take a regular movie then. Awesome. And would you like that with ads or ad-free? Oh my god, what's the difference? With ads, it's $5. Without ads, it's $100. Okay, I'll take a regular movie with ads. Please.
The 3 for me only at Chili's. Get you a bottomless drink, bottomless chips and salsa, an entree like a cheeseburger and fries, the chicken bacon.
Yeah, and the chronological supremacist will be like, oh, well, this is the trending movie, so if it's all AI slop, that's what I gotta slop on up. Instead of slut it up, and Ali Chaba will be rapping to slop it up. Also, reading classic literature literally rewires your brain. Probably does whatever the opposite TikTok does.
Research shows that reading classic literature rewires your brain more than basic self-help books. The key is that these classic books don't give you answers, they make your brain work to find them, which builds much stronger thinking skills. If you're looking for some
Yeah, because just because some guy figured out how to solve his life doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do exactly what he did and it's going to help you. That, I can't believe that's not obvious. What?
books, first try Crime and Punishment. This makes you think through really complicated moral questions without giving you easy answers. Second is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This shows you how insecurity makes you easy to control and teaches you to trust yourself, even when everyone else seems more confident.
But maybe you think I'm wrong, and you think Sexy Red is much better than Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, I don't know. This was okay. You know, this is definitely what you come for, the React Anti-Slap. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, subscribe on the Casey Simpson video here. If you like what I had to say, be sure to like, comment, subscribe here, and I'll see you Vamp Cows next time if he's the pod, my next victim.